Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel. News without the hype and biased reporting. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Buc-ee's fans across the country are getting ready for a major expansion from the Texas-based travel center giant. The company, known for its massive convenience stores, spotless restrooms, and popular fresh food offerings, is preparing to enter several new states over the next 2 years. Buc-ee's first opened in Texas in 1982, but over the past decade the chain has grown into a nationwide phenomenon, especially throughout the Southeast. Now, the company is planning to expand even further. Reports indicate new Buc-ee's locations are expected in Arizona, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Kansas, and North Carolina by the year 2028. Some reports also included Ohio on that list, creating confusion over whether the company is expanding into 6 or 7 new states. The answer appears to be timing. Buc-ee's already celebrated the opening of its first Ohio location in Huber Heights earlier this year, meaning Ohio may no longer count as an upcoming expansion state. Either way, Buc-ee's continues its rapid growth while building a loyal following of travelers eager for oversized stores, endless snack options, and what many customers proudly call the cleanest bathrooms on the road. This is Streaming News Network. An Arizona man convicted of murdering another man by setting him on fire has been executed, marking the first of 3 executions scheduled across the United States this week. 53-year-old Leroy Dean McGill was pronounced dead Wednesday morning at the Arizona State Prison Complex in Florence after receiving a lethal injection. McGill was convicted in the 2002 killing of James Perez during a brutal attack at a Phoenix apartment. Prosecutors said McGill, who had reportedly been using methamphetamine and had gone several days without sleep, poured gasoline on Perez and Perez's girlfriend, Nova Banta, while they sat on a couch before igniting them. Banta survived the attack, but Perez later died from severe burns and related injuries. Witnesses to Wednesday's execution said McGill appeared calm throughout the procedure. Before the lethal injection began, he reportedly smiled, nodded toward witnesses, and said, "I'm going home soon." After the drugs were administered, witnesses described heavy breathing and snoring sounds before he was pronounced dead approximately 21 minutes later. Arizona's execution procedures faced scrutiny in recent years following problems inserting intravenous lines during a previous execution, but witnesses said Wednesday's procedure appeared to proceed without complications. This is Streaming News Network. A Florida middle school teacher is facing child abuse charges after deputies say she encouraged students to slap a classmate during class. 64-year-old Judith Clark has been charged with child abuse without great bodily harm following an incident at Lee Middle School in Bradenton on May 13. According to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, the 6th-grade teacher became frustrated with a student who was allegedly talking during instruction. Investigators say Clark repeatedly asked the class, "Who wants to slap him?" after telling the student to be quiet. Deputies say no one responded at first, but when the student continued talking, Clark allegedly repeated the question. Authorities say she then instructed 2 students to close the classroom blinds before directing another student to strike the boy. Witnesses told investigators the student complied and lightly slapped the victim across the face with an open hand. The student who carried out the slap reportedly told deputies he felt pressured to obey the teacher and was afraid of refusing her instructions. Authorities say that student will not face disciplinary action. School officials learned about the incident the following day and contacted law enforcement, launching the investigation. This is Streaming News Network. An American beer icon is preparing for its final call. Pabst Brewing Company has confirmed it is halting production of Schlitz Premium, ending a nearly 177-year run for the historic lager once known as the beer that made Milwaukee famous. Company officials say rising storage and shipping costs forced the difficult decision to place the brand on hiatus. Other classic labels connected to the Pabst portfolio, including Blatz and Old Milwaukee, may also become harder for consumers to find. Schlitz traces its roots back to 1849, when German immigrant Joseph Schlitz took over a small Milwaukee brewery and built it into one of America's most recognizable beer brands. The company rose to national prominence after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, when it shipped beer to aid the devastated city. By the 1950s, Schlitz had become the largest brewery in the United States. But decades later, recipe changes, controversial advertising campaigns, and shifting consumer tastes contributed to the brand's decline. The company was eventually sold and production moved out of Milwaukee before landing under the ownership of Pabst in 1999. Now, one final batch of Schlitz will be brewed this Saturday in Wisconsin using the brand's original 1948 recipe, a nostalgic farewell to a beer that once dominated American bars and ballgames. This is Streaming News Network. A Washington state man is facing serious charges after police say he intentionally struck two teenagers with his vehicle outside a Taco Bell in Vancouver. According to investigators, the incident happened on May 12 after 60-year-old Charles Thorson reportedly became frustrated with a group of teens riding electric bikes through the parking lot. Witnesses told police the teens had allegedly been harassing customers, damaging property, and blocking vehicles from leaving the area. Court documents say Thorson warned restaurant employees by saying, "I'm going to run them over," before allegedly driving his Kia into an electric bike carrying two juveniles. Police say both teens were thrown from the bike, and one suffered a serious compound fracture to the leg after being run over by the vehicle. Authorities say Thorson later admitted he intended to knock some sense into the children. He was arrested on suspicion of vehicular assault. Police also say one of the injured teens may face charges connected to reckless behavior and property damage in the parking lot before the crash. Nearby business owners told investigators the teens were frequently seen performing dangerous stunts in traffic. In a separate development, officers attempting to arrest the teen days later say the juvenile's mother sprayed an officer with a garden hose during the encounter. She now faces a third-degree assault charge. This is Streaming News Network. A Minnesota woman already accused in the massive Feeding Our Future fraud investigation is now facing new federal charges tied to an alleged daycare assistance scheme worth millions of dollars. Federal prosecutors say Fahima Ege Mahamud was charged Wednesday with wire fraud and conspiracy to defraud the United States. Authorities accuse her of improperly collecting money intended to provide meals and childcare assistance for low-income children. Investigators say Mahamud served as chief executive officer of Future Leaders Early Learning, a Minneapolis daycare center allegedly involved in the broader Feeding Our Future scandal, a case prosecutors say involved approximately $250 million in fraudulent federal nutrition claims. According to court documents, Mahamud is now also accused of filing more than 13,000 fraudulent claims through Minnesota's Child Care Assistance Program between October 2022 and December 2025. Prosecutors allege the false claims totaled roughly $4.6 million and included certifications that required family co-payments had been collected when, investigators say, they had not. The daycare center gained national attention earlier this year after appearing in a viral online video from influencer Nick Shirley, who questioned whether some childcare facilities connected to the investigation were actually operating as claimed. Following heightened scrutiny surrounding the case, federal officials froze approximately $185 million in childcare funding to Minnesota while multiple agencies expanded their investigations. This is Streaming News Network. A Florida middle school teacher has been fired after a disturbing classroom incident involving a black baby doll sparked outrage among students and parents. Karen Savage, a 63-year-old arts teacher at Barrington Middle School in Lithia, was dismissed Wednesday following an internal investigation by the Hillsborough County School District. Students say the incident happened during class on Monday when Savage allegedly wrapped a black wire around a black baby doll's neck and hung it from a flat-screen television inside the classroom. Witnesses say the teacher claimed she was trying to get the students' attention. One student recorded part of the incident on video. 14-year-old Noah Carter said classmates immediately told the teacher the act was offensive and racist. According to Carter, Savage later dismissed the incident as a joke before removing the doll. Carter also alleged the teacher followed him when he attempted to report the incident to school administrators and interrupted him while he explained what happened. The student's mother later shared the video online, calling the incident hateful and traumatic for the children involved. The school district initially removed Savage from the classroom while officials investigated. By Wednesday, district leaders confirmed her employment had been terminated. This is Streaming News Network. One of America's most recognizable condiment brands is bringing back a nostalgic favorite that many fans thought was gone for good. For the first time in nearly a decade, the iconic glass Heinz ketchup bottle is returning to store shelves. The company announced the comeback as part of its new 157 Years of Being Food's Best Friend campaign, celebrating more than a century and a half of the famous ketchup brand. Beginning May 20th, the classic glass bottles will be available exclusively at Walmart stores nationwide. The return is tapping into a wave of nostalgia for longtime ketchup lovers who remember the unmistakable experience of trying to get the last drops out of the bottle, often by smacking the bottom with the palm of a hand. Heinz says the campaign is inspired by generations of fans who made the ketchup a staple at backyard barbecues, family dinners, diners, and ball games. The company also highlighted its memorable slow pour commercials and the loyal customers who insist their fries, burgers, and hot dogs simply are not complete without Heinz. While squeeze bottles may dominate today's grocery aisles, Heinz is betting there is still strong demand for a taste of the past, served in glass. The chief executive officer of fintech company Bolt is defending a controversial decision to eliminate the company's entire human resources department during a major round of layoffs. Ryan Breslow, the 32-year-old co-founder and chief executive officer of Bolt, said the company removed its human resources team because, in his words, they were creating problems that didn't exist. Breslow made the comments during a recent business event while discussing efforts to return the struggling company to what he described as startup mode. Bolt, which develops software aimed at speeding up online checkout systems, cut roughly 30% of its workforce in April, marking the company's fourth round of layoffs in 4 years. The Human Resources Department has since been replaced with a smaller people operations team focused on employee training and support. Breslow argued that traditional human resources structures are better suited for larger corporations rather than fast-moving startup environments focused on efficiency and rapid growth. He also said the company had developed what he called a culture of entitlement among some employees. The layoffs come as Bolt continues to battle financial struggles. Reports indicate the company's valuation dropped from approximately $11 billion in 2022 to around $300 million by 2024. Company officials say fewer than 40 employees were affected in the latest cuts, which Bolt says were also influenced by increasing reliance on artificial intelligence. This has been a report by Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos and shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.